Hello and welcome. I'm DDF Racer and today I'm at Circuit Thermalito. Circuit Thermalito is a semi-fictional racetrack that I made for rFactor 1 back in 2007, which now, thanks to the legendary modder RMI Wood, has been given a new lease of life in Assetto Corsa. I say this place is semi-fictional because, although the racetrack doesn't exist in reality, the area it's based on and the roads themselves are very much real. When I first decided I wanted to design a circuit, I wanted to make sure it felt authentic, like it could be real, you know? I wanted to give my design some credibility and started looking at various dams across the world on Google Maps because, well, I just thought that would be a damn cool place for a racetrack. I'm sorry. And for whatever reason that I can't remember now, I mean, come on, it was nearly 15 years ago, I decided to pick the Thermalito 4-bay pumping generating plant as the location for the circuit. Over the next few months, with no previous experience working with textures or 3D models, I used the tool called Bob's Track Builder to put together the basics. The track surface, the curbs, the surrounding terrain, the walls, the AI lines, the cameras, all that kind of thing. And with a little help from a guy in the rFactor 1 community at the time called Stuart Cowie, I put the finishing touches such as the trackside buildings and other 3D models in place, and that was that. Job done. 10th of April 2008, Circuit Thermalito was released. Sim racing has come a long way since then though. rFactor 1 has been replaced by rFactor 2, although Assetto Corsa is now the undisputed king of the modding scene these days, and the technology has advanced massively, especially in terms of visuals, car physics, and force feedback. Not to mention the advent of virtual reality, which is something that I use for pretty much every race I do on the channel. I had tried to get some interest over the past few years to convert Thermalito to a modern sim, but didn't find any takers. The devs at rFactor 2 actually said it would be too hard and better to start from scratch, and RaceRoom doesn't even allow you to use your own custom skins, never mind modding your own circuit. However, last year I was pointed in the direction of a little piece of software which could quite easily convert tracks from rFactor 1 to Automobilista 1, and as awesome as this was, being able to bring Thermalito back to life, it was still using the same engine that rFactor 1 was using 15 years ago. Still, that was more than good enough to host a 90-minute community race last year, which was an incredible moment on the channel. So many people turned up and it was a seriously enjoyable and actually quite emotional event. A lot of you commented though, saying it sure would be nice to see Thermalito in Assetto Corsa, and I couldn't have agreed more. AC just looked like the best choice for a better conversion in terms of being a modern sim, being widely available, and being easily moddable, but like I said, no one put their hand up, so I kinda just left it at that and moved on. Until a few weeks ago when a guy called RMI Wood messaged me on Race Department with a download link and 3 words. Are you kidding me? Out of nowhere and completely unprompted, this guy's gone and converted my circuit to AC? Shut the
12 seconds later.
Here it is, guys. You've been watching it on the screen for the past however many minutes, but it exists. Circuit Thermalito in Assetto Corsa. The download link is in the video description, so go and get a copy of it, go and fire it up, go and do some laps, and let me know what you think in the comments. And I know I'm a little bit biased here, but I love it. You'd think after so many years of driving around the same place, not to mention literally designing it from scratch, you know, you'd think I'd be bored of Thermalito by now, but this conversion just gives it a whole new lease of life for me. The graphics in AC blow my mind, especially in VR, and it just runs so smooth and just looks so good. That said, you can kind of tell this circuit was designed in a simpler time and with lesser hardware. Some of the walls and curbs around the track are noticeably quite blocky. The textures look a little dated too, some of the terrain clips through itself. The road surface isn't super detailed when it comes to bumps either, that kind of thing. Eventually, I would like to give the place a facelift, but I'm gonna need to learn all about how to mod circuits in AC and also modern 3D modeling and texturing and all that kind of thing. Not exactly light reading. Looking past that though, it's amazing. I mean, just being able to set up any kind of weather condition at any time of day with pretty much any car or jackfruit you could possibly imagine, that's where Assetto Corsa shines. It's just got so much replayability. I'm probably going to make Thermalito my test track on the channel, much like Jimmer did with his Nordschleifer leaderboard a few years ago. And that in itself could be quite an interesting series, and a great excuse to finally try out the best cars that AC has to offer. So yeah, if you've got any suggestions, let me know which ones you want to see the most in the comments. And for those of you who took part in the community event last November, or maybe just watched the stream, you'll be pleased to know that I'm going to run the event again this November, and I'm probably going to make it an annual event too. You know, like the official DDF event of the year, but in Assetto Corsa now instead, obviously. I haven't decided on which cars or what format yet, only that it's going to be a sunset start and then progress into the night throughout the race. But if you like the sounds of that and want to take part, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and press that notification bell to find out when the announcement video goes out with all the details. And also maybe keep an eye on my Discord too, link in the video description. But for now, I think it's time we go and have a closer look at the actual circuit itself. Okay, so here we are on the starting grid at Circuit Thermalito, 5.229 kilometers in length, anti-clockwise. Quite a mix of corners. You've got slow speed, you've got medium speed, you've got high speed, you've got off camber, on camber, banked, you've got long straights, heavy braking zones, got a bit of everything really. So let's go and have a look then. So this will be a nice slow guided lap. As we get ourselves up to speed, I'll point out all the features, tell you where things are on the track, what to look out for, where to get the speed, and then I'll go and do a fast lap. But yeah, here we are, starting grid. Pit complex on the right. And it's a very short run down to the first corner as well. See, that's the start-finish line there under the gantry. We're already at the 150-meter mark. And the first corner here is a hairpin, much like Spa. Very slow speed, probably the tightest corner on the track, the Naumann hairpin. Drops off halfway through the apex as well. It will push the car towards the outside, towards that barrier in the gravel there, so be careful. Anyway, get back on the power. The first of two kinks, right and left, completely flat out. Henrik 1 and Henrik 2, named after RVR Closet and Captain Flatspot. Heading towards Bergen Bend, keep it over to the right hand side, brake just between the 50 and 100, and quite a lot of curb here. Medium speed corner, but there's a bump right there as you get onto the Mooney straight here. Track goes elevated on the exit, so you can lose the fronts and it can push wide. This is actually the start-finish facilities for one of the shorter layouts here. See, look, there's some more start lights and there's another starting grid back there. But here it's just the Mooney straight, just a short stretch down to Eaglecott Junction. Very similar to Bergen Bend, but in reverse. Another bump on the exit, but now you got to keep it towards the right. Maximize the exit. Use a little bit of curb on the left. We're on the Damo straight heading uphill. Quite a steep rise, actually, as you can see by the banners on the right there. Brown Bend, there's a bump just after 50. Late apex, a lot faster than you think. There's a Governor of California keeping an eye on proceedings. Run it all the way out to the wall on the right here. The water's on the right. Into the rainy curves. Flat out in most cars. Watch out for the wall on the right. A few people have clipped that and sent themselves spearing into the left. We're now on Mokang Drive. First chance we get to really stretch the legs of this car. The Porsche 911 RSR 2017 that I'm driving today, by the way. As we head towards probably the most iconic corner on the circuit. Don't go down there. That's the escape road. This whole corner drops off massively. Massive elevation change. The road just falls away. Incredibly banked. There's a few bumps. You can carry so much speed through here, through whole corner. Into the Rexy Flick, which leads you straight into the JT tunnel. Cars with stiffer suspension and not as much clearance can't really take that close to the apex because it'll just wreck the suspension and grind the front wing or the front of the car along the ground. So you don't want to do that. So stiffer cars keep left. But here, MJSs, you want to get an early turn into this first left apex here, and then the right-hand corner of the MJSs, be as close as you can to that tyre barrier, straighten the exit, another short crest here, which leads you directly onto the sticky straight, the first of two really long straights in this section of the track here, the backstretch, so to speak. There's a little rise here underneath the Circuit Thermalito gantry again. Track dips away just as you start braking. In some of the older cars, you're probably going to want to get on the brakes before that bump, otherwise you'll just lock up the tyres immediately. But this is the Hunter Loop. Very banked, very flowing, open hairpin. However, it's not banked here on the exit, it's actually off camber, so if you run super wide onto this little strip of tarmac, you're going to be in a lot of trouble heading straight towards the gravel and the wall. Now, probably the straightest and longest section of the track here, where you will reach the top speed. The Smith Straight. Not much to do here really, apart from, you know, try and look over the fence at the water and look at the dam that's coming towards you, the Thermalito pumping generating plant. Heading towards Binsbergen Corner. Start the third sector. There's some track on the right there, but you can't really use it because you need to be turning left. And you need to be turning left and braking, keeping it to the left because you immediately flick the car into Jorgensen Corner, which leads you into the second tunnel, the second Cummings tunnel. Very, very technical exit here as you come up a quick rise and the car just goes so light at the front, you have to scrub off so much speed through chicanement here. Very technical, very bumpy, very slow, very frustrating corner, which leads you straight into Brody Bend. A fast, sweeping, opening acceleration zone, which led you onto a straight that previously had no name, but the winner of the first Circuit Thermalito community event, David Yunt, now has this named in his honour, the Shanty Straight. That's the pits on the right there, quite an early pit entry, because there's not much room once you get through the final corner, so you do it before the final corner. The Hunter Loop, and the Power Loop, but this is very similar to the Hunter Loop. When you get into the Power Loop here, you want to try and keep it on the bank on the left here, and that will pull you round. If you go onto this section of the track, you can see it's pretty much flat, and you're going to lose all your grip and go straight into the runoff, so you don't want to do that. Nice smooth exit out of the Power Loop. Use the curb, and then floor it. And that's a lap at Circuit Thermalito. That's a very slow lap at Circuit Thermalito, but should give you a bit of an idea of what to expect. Right then. Let's go and do a fast one. Anyway, I hope this gives you a good idea of where to find the speed around the circuit, and I know there are a lot of faster sim races out there, so go and download Circuit Thermalito for Assetto Corsa, link in the description. Go and set your best times, upload your videos, and maybe even post them on my Discord as well for the rest of the DDF community to beat. And don't forget, community event here at Circuit Thermalito in November. Details TBC, but until then, thanks for watching guys, you look after yourselves, and I'll see you all again real soon. Bye bye.